Hi class, it's Dr. Klein here, and what I'm going to do for this part of the review is go over chapters 27, 29, 30, 31, and it says 32, but I realize that biodiversity is the same thing as diversity, so we'll just talk about ecology. Anyway, so chapter 27 is all about the cerebral cortex, the brain, hormones, and basically the communication systems of the brain. So the cerebral cortex is divided up into um, several different lobes. We've got the frontal, the parietal, the temporal, and the occipital. Those are the lobes of the cerebral cortex. And then the parts of the brain stem are first the um, the thalamus, the hypothalamus, the pons, and the medulla oblongata. Those are the three parts. Remember that the pons and the medulla oblongata have to do with controlling vital functions like um, breathing, and the hypothalamus is all about maintaining homeostasis, and the thalamus is a relay station for the brain. Okay, the function of hormones. Hormones are chemical messengers throughout the body, generally used for a sustained response. We use our nervous system for quick response and our hormones for a sustained response. The master gland, the pituitary gland. We've got the anterior and posterior parts of the pituitary gland. The anterior pituitary gland produces so the hormones of the pituitary gland are first the anterior, and these are the hormones that are produced in the anterior of the pituitary gland. You got ACTH, I didn't ask you to learn that. You got GH, MSH, you got TSH, FSH. TSH has to do thyroid stimulating hormone. FSH is follicle stimulating hormone. LH is a luteinizing hormone. I don't believe I asked you to learn that one. Anyway, they cause the testicles and the ovaries to produce their gametes and to mature them. And prolactin also comes from the anterior pituitary gland, produces breast milk. In the posterior pituitary gland, the hormones are actually produced in the hypothalamus, and it produces two major ones: oxytocin, which is that cuddle hormone, and ADH, which antidiuretic hormone, which influences the amount of peeing you do. Okay, so fluid levels in the body. All right, where are we at? Okay, so did that. So we're on to 29. Do I have a PowerPoint here for 29? I don't. Okay, I don't have it handy. So male and female reproductive systems, we went over that in lab. Make sure you know the path sperm has to take in order to be expelled from the body. In the men, know all the major organs. Of course, the primary reproductive organ in males is the testicle. And you should know those glands, the three glands: bulbourethral, prostate, and the seminal vesicle in the male reproductive system. In the female reproductive system, you should know of obviously the ovary is the primary reproductive organ. Egg passage from the ovary to the uterus occurs in the fallopian tube, or the uterine tube, which it is also called. And that's also the place in the uterine fallopian tube is where you have fertilization of the sperm and the egg. And then the fertilized zygote will travel down the fallopian tube into the uterus where it implants. Okay, obviously the vagina, it receives the penis, and that's its function. Okay. Okay. Oh, it's also the birth canal. Very important function. menstrual cycle and associated hormones. I did not include that on the test, so you can cross that out because we didn't have time to go over it, and yeah, I didn't really cover it very well. My apologies. Define ecology. Ecology is the study of living organisms and their interactions with the abiotic components of that ecosystem. So to shorten that, you could just say that ecology is the study of ecosystems, and ecosystems are the abiotic and biotic components of an ecosystem. Okay, carrying capacity. Carrying capacity is the maximum amount of individuals a ecosystem can hold. So here's our carrying capacity for this potential fish. It goes up and it hits its maximum capacity based on how much food and resources there are, and then it kind of fluctuates from there. That's carrying capacity. We did not go over these two things in class, so I'll cross those out. Factors that regulate populations. So we talked about this a little bit when it came to this lynx and hare concept, but just to really quickly review. Where's my lynx and my hare? Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay. So what could influence or what we call density dependent factors? First of all, predation, the number of predators, the number of prey, so the number of resources around, certainly will affect those. In the lynx and the hare example, we talked about how the population of the lynx followed the population of the hare. So after the hare's population increased, soon thereafter the lynx population increased. If the hare's population decreased, soon thereafter the hare's population decreased. Okay, so it's a predator-prey interaction is the appropriate term. Okay, let's go back to our screen. And we've got, okay, species richness and diversity. Species richness is the number of individuals in a species, whereas species diversity is the number of different types of species. Okay, so the number of individuals of a species is species richness. The number of total types of, the number of different types of species is the diversity. Okay. Ecosystem, you know what an ecosystem, it's all the biotic and abiotic components of a geographic area. A keystone species is a species that all other species in an ecosystem depend on. Often it has to do with the chief predator, but it doesn't have to be. So it doesn't have to be the chief predator. Primary versus secondary succession. Bring that up. So remember, primary succession usually starts with at rock. Okay, so where you have rock, that's where primary succession starts, and then it climbs, it grows from there, and you get to what we call a climax species. Climax species, or climax community, is a community where it's basically at its potential and it's stable. Okay, it's at its potential. Now, secondary succession is when succession starts when soil is already developed. So you already have some kind of soil surface here, you have small plants, and then you have succession to a climax community there. Okay, here's an example of secondary succession. You've got dirt. One moment, please. If I can pause this. There we go. Okay, so I'm back. Oh, you guys don't need to see that. Where are we at? Get back here. Okay, here we are. Okay, so primary, secondary succession. Session. That's wrong. Oops, too many S's. Okay, sorry about that. Okay. Parasitism, that's where one organism is benefited and the other organism is harmed. Commensalism is when one organism is benefited, the other is not harmed. And mutualism, both are benefited. An ecological niche has two parts. It has a spatial part, which we call habitat, and that is where the organism exists. Let's see if I can bring that up here. Here's a spatial. Here it is. So a habitat, a spatial is where it exists, so where it lives, and then it has a functional part to it, and that is its role that it plays in an ecosystem. So it's the role that it plays, okay? So an ecosystem has those two parts, okay? And let's see, autotroph, you guys know what autotrophs are. Those are self-feeders. They create their own sugars through either photosynthesis or chemoautotrophic things like, so they get their energy, chemoautotrophs get their energy from thermal vents in the ocean or in caves. And so they make their own sugars and energy. Heterotrophs feed on autotrophs, so they have to feed on other animals in order to get their energy. All right, so again, biodiversity is the same as diversity. It's just the number of different individuals in an ecosystem. Different, not just individuals, number of different species in an ecosystem. Okay, I think that's it for this particular video. Have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you later. Good luck on studying for the exam. Please, if you have questions, you may send them to me through the Remind system, or you can even try to email me. You'll probably get a quicker response if you use the Remind system, the Remind app. Okay. Talk to you later. Bye.